Good morning, dear students. Today we shall begin the third and the last part of the chapter Introduction of Statistics. In the previous part, we had studied about the meaning of statistics in singular sense and also the scope of statistics. There were three components of the scope of statistics, that is, its nature, its subject matter, and its limitations. So, moving on, the last topic is functions and importance of statistics in economics. The first function is quantitative expressions of economic problems. Consider any problem, be it the problem of unemployment, the problem of price rise, or the problem of shrinking exports. The first task of the economists is to understand its magnitude through its quantitative expressions. So, quantitative expression means expressing in numbers, and magnitude refers to the extent of something. So the economists, in order to understand a problem in a better manner, they require the expressions in number that can reflect the magnitude of the problem, how big the problem is. If if it is said generally that employment is very less in India, the rate of unemployment is very high, it will not have a very great impact. But if I say that for example the rate of unemployment in India is 20%, then it will create more impact, because now the numbers are supporting the problem. The next function is inter-sectoral or inter-temporal comparisons. Economists do not support merely at the quantitative expressions of the problem. They do not stop at the quantitative expressions only. They would try to further comprehend it through intersectoral or intertemporal comparisons. Intersectoral comparison means comparison across different sectors of the economy, and intertemporal comparison means understanding of change in the magnitude of the problem over time. So you already must be knowing that on the basis of nature of activity, there are three sectors in our economy, that is primary, secondary, and tertiary. So in the economists, they do not stop only at the quantitative expressions of any problem. They try to dig in deeper and they try to understand which sector is facing more amount of problem by intersectoral comparisons, that is comparing the sectors, that is primary, secondary, and tertiary with the other. So intertemporal comparison is also done. If I say that the problem of unemployment is persistent in India, it will not make a very great impact. But how much employment has increased or decreased, if it is reflected in numbers, it will be better for the economists to carry out their study, to understand the problem in a proper manner. The next function is working out cause and effect relationship. Economists try to find out cause and effect relationship between different sets of data. This enables them to attempt an effective diagnosis of the problem and accordingly to suggest some effective remedies. So the economists always try to find out the cause and effect relationship between the problems. If the economists come across the fact that there is a decline in demand and which is leading to a negative impact on the economy, The economists can always suggest the government to encourage the people to demand more, and that can be done through various measures by reducing the amount of tax and everything. So the function of statistics is also to find out the cause and effect relationship. The next function is construction of economic theories or economic models. What is an economic theory? It is an established statistical relationship between different sets of statistical data offering conclusions of economic significance. The well-known inverse relationship between price of a commodity and its demand is an established statistical relationship and therefore is a part of economic theory. So economic theories or economic models are nothing but an established statistical relationship between two different kind of data. Like we have already studied about the law of demand. Law of demand says that there is an inverse relationship between price of a commodity and its quantity demanded. So this has been proven through statistics, and that is why it has become a economic theory. So the function of statistics is also to formulate economic theories and economic models. The next function is economic forecasting. Economists do forecasting through statistical studies. By studying the behavior of price level over several years, the economists can make statistical forecasting about the likely trend or pattern of the price level in the near future. This helps us in future planning. So just like an astrologer predicts the future, similarly the economists try to forecast the trend that is going to take place in near future by using the statistical data that is present with them. It helps many people. It helps the government, the businessmen. There are different individuals who are benefited by this economic forecasting. The next function is formulation of policies. How does the finance minister decide to increase or decrease taxation as a source of government revenue? It is through statistical studies. The finance minister gets a feedback on the tax paying capacity of the people and the revenue needed by the government. So this statistical data also helps in formulation of various policies. Every year budget comes, and the finance minister revises many things. One of it is your income tax, and that revision is done through getting the feedback as to how much people are earning, how much is their capacity to pay as tax, and how much revenue is needed by the government. All that is taken into consideration. Only then a policy is formulated. The next and the last function is economic equilibrium. What is an equilibrium? It is a state of balance for the producer or the consumer where the producer finds that his profits are maximum, or where the consumer finds that his satisfaction is maximum. So statistics also helps in formulation of equilibrium. Equilibrium is the point of maximum satisfaction for consumers. There are two different types of equilibrium that have been mentioned over here. One is consumers equilibrium, where the consumer gets maximum satisfaction, and the other one is producer's equilibrium, when the producer is able to get maximum amount of profit. And both these equilibrium, it can be derived only by the use of statistics. Numbers are required to formulate it. Now, statistical methods are no substitutes for common sense. This is a statement of caution to the students of statistics. It urges the students not to use statistics devoid of their common sense. You may find some spurious relationship like larger the number of doctors in an area, greater are the deaths in that area. It may be true statistically, but does not match with common sense. Hence, never propagate any statistical conclusion in case it offends your common sense. So, common sense is very important. You all need to use it. Please do not follow the statistical methods blindly. If a particular study comes up that the more the number of doctors in an area, more people are dying. So that is not a very acceptable kind of a fact. You need to use your common sense that these two things are not related to each other. They are completely different. And one more example is there that a person had to cross the river with his family, and there were different individuals. His wife was there, children were there, elderly were there. So he thought that before crossing the river, he would take out the average height of the family, so that he is able to understand that whether the height of the river water level is higher than the average or not, whether they will be able to cross the river or not. So he calculated the average, and that average was well below the water level of river. So he started crossing the river along with his family. He started walking, but the problem is that the children were quite young and their height was quite low, and as a result, the children could not make it to the bank. They drowned. So over there, that man had to use his common sense before using statistics. Everywhere average cannot be used. Now, there is this very small topic, distrust of statistics. Now, distrust of statistics refers to the lack of confidence in statistical methods and statements. Many people do not, completely believe on the methods of statistics. Now, this cause of distrust is that incomplete knowledge of statistical method, unrealistic assumptions, deliberate misuse of statistics, ignoring limitations of statistics, and wrong application of statistical methods. These are the causes of that distrust. This is why this distrust happens. Now, how can this distrust be removed? Limitation of statistics should be kept in mind. Only experts should make use of statistics. Data should be used after careful inquiry. Great care and caution should be exercised while using statistics. The user should be impartial. So this is how this distrust can be removed. One needs to be very conscious in using the statistical method, and the user has to be very impartial. And that is why it can be said that statistics does not present anything wrong. There is no issue, no problem in statistics. The fault lies in the person who is using that particular data, or the one who had collected it. So we need to be very conscious while using statistical methods. Statistical methods are many a times used to manipulate the conclusion, to draw the already drawn conclusion. So it is there. So one needs to be very careful while using statistics. Now, today we have studied about the functions and importance of statistics in economics. The points were quantitative expression of economic problems, inter-sectoral and inter-temporal comparisons, working out cause and effect relationship, construction of economic theories and economic models, economic forecasting, formulation of policies, and economic equilibrium. So that is it. These are your assignment questions. The first question is, the government and the policy makers use statistical data to formulate suitable policies of economic development. Illustrate with 2 examples. The next question is, you have unlimited wants and limited resources to satisfy them. Explain by giving 2 examples. The third question is, what are the reasons for studying economics? And the last question is, statistical methods are no substitute of common sense. Comment. So that is it for today. Thank you.